Hello, welcome back to another Ask Pastor Chase moment. While these are not a part of our Sunday services anymore now that we're back in person, I still want to try to put these videos out from time to time. And today's question isn't one that was actually asked, but it's one that lines up with us finishing our Acts series. And so the question that I want to answer today is, why are some verses missing from my Bible? What am I talking about? Well, if you were following along with our Acts series, then you may have noticed that some certain verses were skipped in the English translations of most of our Bibles. If you didn't notice, that's okay, and most people don't, but to many, this is a major problem, and some people even think that it proves that the Bible can't be trusted. Which verses exactly were skipped? Well, here's the ones just from the book of Acts. But there's many verses that are included in old English translations, like the King James Version, that are just skipped over in our newer English translations. And if you don't believe me that these verses are not in our modern translations, pause this video and check them out real quick. See what I mean? And those are just the verses in the book of Acts. So what's going on here? Are people just picking and choosing what they think should belong in the Bible now? Well, no. Our new English translations are not taking verses out that were part of the original text of the Bible, but they're taking away what's been added. So that means our newer translations are actually more accurate than some of the older translations. Now, most of us know that the Bible was not written in English. It was written mostly in Hebrew and Greek and some Aramaic. And while we don't have the original copies of the Bible, we do have really, really old copies. And when those old copies of the same books of the Bible say slightly different things, that's what's called, let me give you a big, long, hard word here, it's called a textual variant. And when there are textual variants, biblical scholars use a process called textual criticism to try and figure out what the original manuscript really said. And don't worry, I won't bore you with all the details of how that happens, but basically it's a very complex and thorough evaluation of the words in the original language. So when that process is carried out, especially as new and older manuscripts are discovered, sometimes it's found that some words or phrases or sometimes even full verses were added to the Bible either on accident or on purpose. And so the verses that are missing are not really missing, they're really just not found in the oldest and most reliable manuscripts that we have. So the newer translations take those verses out and usually put them in the footnotes or in brackets or something else. Now this isn't a problem for three reasons. Number one, all of the questionable verses are minor changes. Okay, what I mean by that is that the major doctrines and themes of the Bible do not stand and fall on these verses alone. Sometimes they're about different numbers or word order, or sometimes even the scribes would add helpful information, but none of that actually changes the meaning and core doctrines of the Bible. Number two, this is not a problem because with advancements in technology and archaeology, we can actually be more assured that the Bible we have today is as close as we can possibly get to the original. So when we see verses and footnotes like the ones we're talking about in Acts, and there seems to be verses missing, this should actually give us a sense of assurance that the editors are being as careful as possible and trying to give us as real of a picture of what the original manuscripts would have looked like. And then lastly, this isn't a problem because if God is truly God, that means that He can keep His word safe throughout the ages. He won't let it get irreversibly corrupted. And while yes, humans, we're accident prone and we make errors, God is not. And God is at work in the preservation of His word. So that's all these so-called missing verses are really about. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. So thanks so much for watching this video. We're gonna try and put out these Ask Pastor Chase videos from time to time here on our YouTube channel. So if you have a question that you'd like to see me answer, you can go ahead and send that question in to the phone number or email address that should be on the screen here. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on our next Ask Pastor Chase moment.